What's that?
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Late Night Snacks. We are so happy you guys are here to join us. We are here to Kiki and Spill the Tea and discuss RuPaul's Drag Race Vegas Revue Live, Season 1, Episode 6, which is the finale, where we also lead into the coronavirus, but it's the finale because of the coronavirus.
Yep.
So otherwise we probably would have gotten more. So with that, let's see. Where do we kind of start off? We kind of start off with the Cameron and Vanjie date.
Yeah. It's right up from last week where they say they actually recap a bunch of the crap that happened last week.
Yeah. Well, I think recapped because it was the last episode, so they recapped kind of from the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the recap
right
was
into
like
date
10 minutes.
and the date. Well, it leads right into them saying they like each other or whatever. And then there was a date suggested. Shouldn't you guys go out on a date? Shouldn't you guys go
test it out? Yeah.
Whatever. And then Cameron's like, yeah, I guess we should. And then a date was scheduled, and hence the date happened.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I don't know if you can call that a date. It was kind of more like awkward silences.
It was
well, and like I was pointing out, Dawn, I'm sure that was part of the edit and the way they edited it, but it was still very awkward. You're like, oh my goodness, like you guys had this amazing, cute kiss. I thought they would definitely hit it off better.
Yeah, what's up, Afro?
Hey, what's up, Alfie? Welcome.
Well, first he took her up to that high point thing where you go overlook the city and everything.
Yeah.
And once they got up there, they
that
were
was
like,
for alone time, because then they wouldn't be bothered.
They're both really socially inept to do something. Because we saw Vanjie on another date, very similar to this. Vanjie's like waiting for the other person to initiate this stuff. When Vanjie's got the personality to do this, himself, why wasn't she initiating conversation and being typical Vanjie in situations? But she doesn't in these date situations because that's twice we've seen already.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very interesting that she's got that personality kind of thing around dates, and the camera's just shy. It's
like she tried
for two people.
Cameron's so cute, though.
I know, but
really
Vanjie wants everything done for her. She doesn't want to do it herself. She wants,
yeah. You figure you have plenty to talk about. You work together. You know each other. And it was just weird. It was just weird, awkward.
Yeah. I think they were both nervous. They were both nervous because they're used to being friends, but this was something different. And knowing that they were both interested in each other was like, oh, okay. Because think about anybody who would get nervous on a first date. Or because you found out somebody liked you, who you liked. And that's what Cameron reminded me of, the way he was talking about it. It was like a little schoolboy, like in high school, like, I'm going to go on this date. Like, he was so excited. Excuse me. And Vanjie was too. So it was kind of a really big letdown. Like, I was sad for them that it was awkward.
Yeah, and it was,
we were both looking for the same things.
And it was sad to watch because you're just like, oh my God, you guys could be so cute together if you
I know.
If
it would have been really weird. And the fact that they didn't give themselves any additional opportunity. They're just like, oh, well, that's nope. Done.
That's
one
that.
And done.
We're done. One and done.
Okay. After the whole episode.
Weird. Yeah, it was a little weird in general.
I think the date ended. They decided not to move forward, and then there was one story before Corona. What else happened?
We got into the Asia drama, and they were brought together to discuss it and kind of bury the hatchet.
Yeah, what's his face? The director was brought.
The director of the show, the co-director of the show,
Jamal. So,
this is affecting the show. Blah blah blah. What's going on? They, kind of did a roundtable where some of it was squashed, some of it wasn't. Typical Asia sucking the life out of the damn show again. Taking up a segment of the show. And then Asia was kind of called upon herself by Derek to be like, look, when are you going to take any responsibility for any of this? She's like, Asia's like, well, I have a right to feel the way I feel. And damn right you do. But
she doesn't deal with anything. Yeah. There's a reason she's by herself, because she doesn't deal with anything. She blames everything on everyone else.
She chose that. Anyway, so then that was not squashed between Derek and Asia. We'll find out later that there's a comeuppance about all of it. But then we get into the pre-coronavirus, and it was so hard to watch. It was really hard to watch a kind of a real life situation that we've all gone through. We've all been there. It's kind of like rewatching 9/11 type stuff. But yeah, I think this is more affects the general public widespread than the 9/11 did. And to see those initial newsreels come in that this is happening, and New York has decided to do this, and California's decided to do this, and the baby steps of not knowing what's going on and all this stuff, and the fear and the isolation, it all brought all that back to me too. It was really hard to watch. And I didn't realize
they showed all the empty streets, the strip empty, and not even cars driving down. And
it was hard to watch because
it was really hard to watch. It was very emotional, hard to watch. It was like I didn't realize I had so much.
And hearing them talk about it, how their experience was dealing with it and what it was doing to them and whatnot. Because they did make lightheartedness of it, a little bit into it. But when we first started talking about Corona shutdown, like you said, it was very hard to watch, and you could tell these people themselves were getting choked up talking about it and missing their show and not knowing when it was coming back and being scared because, like Derek pointed out, like, this is very scary. You could die. And it just brought me back to all of, not that we don't still feel those feelings, but it was very new. When this was first starting,
we had no idea,
shutting everything down, and everybody was, supposed to be quarantined in their homes. Like, it brought all that back, and we forget that wasn't that long ago.
Nope.
No, and we all went through it. Yeah, every single one of us. And I remember what it was like for us. We went live every single day to talk about it, and I think that was a distraction for us. And I didn't realize that I hadn't really dealt with any of my feelings about the whole things because it was scary. It still is scary. It still
is, very much.
Way because we were trying to keep things as normal as possible.
Yeah.
What really affected me was when they jumped to the future, and they were talking about, well, I better unpack now. We're not going back. There's been all this time, and I'm like sitting here thinking about today. Life went on, and yet nothing's the same. Nothing went back, and it's like. It's really emotional to think about that. This is now the new norm, the new life that we live with. Is these really uncertain times? These really it seems like dark times or whatever. But yet there's a piece of us that's still kind of there.
Yeah,
the world ended for us of our normality. During that time, that period, and it was weird. I hadn't dealt with that yet.
Yeah.
Very strange.
I don't think really.
To answer Alfie's question real quick. Now we know for a fact season 1 is done. They're not going to come back and say, "Oh, let's continue season 1." That's why they made this the finale. They know it's done. Now we'll probably get a season 2, which would be great because they can start filming. We learned in the finale that January 28th, 2021, Vegas is fingers crossed, knock on wood, Vegas is set to come back for their show.
Not happening, folks. It's not happening. Live theater will be the very last thing that ever sees the light of day. And I don't think we're going to see live theater until after a vaccine and such has run its course. These hopeful, new dates and everything. Look at the just the road bumps that movie theaters have gone through. Movie theaters have gone through these hit and misses, and they're still not really reopen. And that's with no live. Remember, these are live performers. They have their livelihood face to face in the same environment as a movie theater, a closed, air-conditioned environment where there's multiple people sitting around you, but yet you're facing the live entertainment who could contract coronavirus as well. We're not going to see the kind of live entertainment until there's something is done about it. Until we have, and then science is now telling us we won't be out of this until we've successfully navigated the vaccine for a year with a vaccine. So they don't perceive live theater coming back to like 2022 if we get a vaccine this year.
But regardless, so to finish answering your question is that yes, we will definitely get a season 2, but they're going to start it once everything gets back in motion, obviously. And like I said, it's not going to pick up from season 1 and start like episode 7. It'll pick up with season 2. And then I like that they'll do that because we might be able to get a full season if we're back at it normally then. And then we can see how this affected their show and getting back on track.
So tentatively, we were getting
their
it back.
audiences coming in.
I hope that what I hope they do is if Live Theater's out of the question from another year, which it sounds like because I follow Broadway and all that. It sounds like that's what the deal is. I hope RuPaul and them come together, just like other things have like really changed and found a way to make something work. I hope they make something work with this show, whether that be they isolate these girls and they're able to deliver a show in a studio type way and deliver a season that way, the making of that, or make this show like a movie and do a season 2 of the filming of the movie of it, something to bring them back together and thinking creatively outside the box, or they could do a drive-in situation type thing because they're talking about.
Well, I know a lot of places are doing that right now.
Yeah, Six the Musical.
I know California is one of the few places that has year-round drive-ins. We have a few out here, but they've slowly.
Broadway shows.
The last one in town here.
Yes, some of the shows are looking to performances and drive-through.
If they follow CDC guidelines. Yeah, that sounds about right. And it's going to be these bigger corporations that are going to make the decisions to close and things like that because they are a bigger corporation. They can afford it, whereas mom and pop businesses can't.
Well, because even I have a movie theater literally right down the street from my house, and they've already closed it. They're not going to open it back up again, which is like really sad. But
yeah.
And unfortunately,
movies in San Diego are open and reclosed.
Back into the episode then. So we see, again, like you were saying, closed down strip and everything. And then we get everybody on like a Zoom type of call together. I don't know if they use it, but a video conferencing call. And we get all of the girls together and everybody's, there being silly, being happy, telling what they've been doing in quarantine. And Derek decides what better time than now to bring up the Asia business again. And right then, me and Dawn were watching this and we're like, oh, great. Can we just drop it? Let's be over that.
No, Derek's got to poke the bear again.
Exactly. But as we see, it went very well. Derek actually said, listen, I do apologize for my part. I do apologize basically for poking the bear. I mean, not his exact words, but he gave us apology for putting his 2 cents in maybe where it wasn't due or not warranted. And Asia was really receptive to that. And I think that this whole COVID-19 and quarantine, like Derek mentions that, it puts things into perspective. It really makes you think, how important life is.
I have a thing about this whole thing. Very interesting. If you listen to the discussion and the call it the testimonials or where they go in the little room, do the one-on-one. If
a little interview,
Derek completely owned his part in it.
Yeah.
But Asia didn't.
Told Asia, I'm sorry, B, C, and D. Asia owned nothing and used coronavirus as an excuse to be friends again.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, she hasn't fixed it.
Yeah. But you know what?
There was nothing.
That if anything, maybe this, fingers crossed, knock on wood, will put some of this drama to rest so that when we do come back for a season 2, we don't have to deal with this BS of Asia for the whole season. Because that's what we got. We got Asia BS
I
for
hope
the
that
whole
Asia
season.
gets some feedback
But it
from
was
the viewers
because it was
that are watching just like us.
Yeah.
I hope so, because I mean, there was so much that we didn't get any closure on. Like, we didn't get any more information on Ivy.
So much.
Nothing like that. And I really
want disease process.
In the edits that they kind of fast tracked it, kind of like how you're saying we didn't get closure, because it felt like the storylines, like the information we did get, were like so sped up. And then, like you said, there was no closure to it. It's like speed through it real quick, and then we'll just act like it didn't happen, and we'll forget about it, and we'll move on to the next one, and maybe nobody will notice. But I think that has to do with the quick editing process, because once everything did shut down, so it kind of sucks, because I'm sure they had, the producers and everything, the production crew had ideas in a way they wanted this storyline, the narrative to go.
Yeah, they were probably developing other storylines as it went through. But when you shut down a show that quickly, and then also not only shutting down the show, money's got to be invested in the making of the TV show. And if there's no money coming in from the revenue of the live stage show, you got to shut everything down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, because that was the information I wanted to know most, was everything that was going on with Ivy, because the fact that, with the medical.
I don't follow Evie on social media. I don't follow any Twitter or anything. If maybe Evie has been tweeting a bunch of stuff, she might.
I don't follow her either. I need to.
Yeah, you should.
I do.
Oh, do you? What has she been saying?
There hasn't been a whole lot lately, just more kind of, promotion for the show, watch the show type of stuff. And I think it's because they were trying not to let the cat out of the bag about certain things or whatever, just because there were only 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Yes, a real cliffhanger season in so many ways. You're totally right about that. It really is.
For the world.
I mean, in a way, it's smart on their part, because even once like Drag Race, Vegas Revue Live came out, we were all at a point where we were kind of hitting RuPaul Drag Race fatigue, Yeah. And then, so it's kind of smart on their part to end it, knowing they could only get in 6 episodes, but to maybe edit it the way that they did, so that when season 2 starts, they have a lot of storyline to pick up from, and not just the fallback of coronavirus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, because that's what I like to think anyway, because I like to think we're going to get more information on Evie. With them having to shut everything down, Evie probably didn't have time to get to those doctors and get the...
she may not have wanted to.
Well, right. So it could be a little bit of both too. It might be she finally decided, but then there was no time for filming. Or it could be something she decided she wanted to do privately and not put out on the show. It is a serious health condition that she was born with, that she has to deal with every day of her life. So
I'd actually like to follow these girls. Like they have the format now. They have the platform. It's like, if they don't go back to the review, why don't they take 5 of them, 6 of them? Why don't they take this and do like a real world type of show with them? Follow their lives, follow what they're doing in a Real Housewives kind of show.
Just kind of like updates, keep up with them, let us know what's happening during all this. They'll probably use that for footage to start season 2. But
get a season 2.
It'll be cool to see all that. And we got a little taste of that when they were showing us what everybody was doing during quarantine. And we saw a lot of them were still getting dolled up. Like Evie was taking the time to perfect her makeup and her styles and her goofy oddities, as we call them.
I would still watch the show. That
they were showing people were doing streaming, and they were doing video conferencing, and not just the 6 of them in the one call that we saw. Because like we saw Derek decked out, and Derek was doing a podcast or a live show or whatever Derek was doing. We didn't get much information on that. But they're obviously, staying on social media, staying busy. And I'm sure because you're going stir crazy at this point.
Well, like Vanjie's living with what's her face? Vanjie's living with
what is her name?
Oh, her neighbor. Isn't that her landlord?
No, that's another Rue girl. That's she's from season 12, season 13.
Yeah, they told us in like episode 1, when everybody was leaving to come to Vegas.
I'm forgetting her name.
Right.
What's her name?
Getting help from her getting her stuff together and everything. Oh, she's hilarious.
Yeah, she is hilarious.
Yeah.
Although she's
and they started their own podcast. They were doing what did they call it? Word on the Curb.
Word on the Curb.
I feel like an idiot not knowing her name. Right.
Well, none of us do.
I do know her name. I'm just drawing a blank right now because I haven't been well lately. By the way, I'm very sick, so I'm like not all there. No, she's huge. She was all they talked about during Evie's season. Sugar. She she was that voice in the room that was just over obnoxious.
Oh,
And everything.
okay.
I cannot
The
think
one
of
you
her.
hear from like 6.
Was there sugar something with sugar? Doctor. Keep talking,
Well,
I'll find it.
regardless, we'll figure it out later.
We'll
But
figure it out.
that's the show. That's the show. That's the finale. That's how they wrap it up. And then they show us 2 weeks after filming this is when they got the announcement that they're gonna open Vegas back up. January 28th, 2021. And like Michael said, that very well could be a non-possibility. So
Yeah.
Aww. Well, we're glad that we can be here for you and to bring some sunshine into your day.
Sweet.
That means a great.
All right, guys. So that's it.
Yeah.
As soon as we have some more RuPaul info, we will bring it to you guys and let you know what's coming up next, because I know there's a couple on the docket, but obviously with filming issues right now, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Right. But we have some more. We have a lot more coming for you guys. Okay, don't worry. All right.
Silky Ganache.
We love you. We love
Silky
you for
Ganache.
doing.
That's his band she's living with.
Okay.
Silky Ganache.
We'll see you guys in the next one.
Take
Bye.
care,
Bye.
guys. Bye.